You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Law, and as chair, I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire State Development, for Thursday, May 16th, 2024. I'd like to remind staff members joining us remotely today to please mute your audio until you're ready to speak. The public was given an opportunity to attend today's meeting and to provide comments on the agenda items. And I'll state for the record that we do not have any members of the public here with us today. Is that correct? Yep. That is correct. The public was also given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by noon yesterday. We did receive one comment relating to agenda item 2B, which was provided to the directors and is posted on this meeting's webpage. As always, the directors have received the written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time during the presentations. At this time, I'll ask directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. So, Benson?
DFS will abstain from the administrative item dealing with insurance because we regulate those entities.
Very good. So we'll note for the record that Benson will be abstaining and recuse himself on administrative action item 8D, renewal of Highline Moynihan Connector insurance policies. No other potential conflicts. Before we get to the first item on the agenda, we first go around the room, and I'll recognize a quorum, and then we'll have the senior staff introduce themselves. So, Hope?
Hope Knight, President, CEO.
Hilda Rosario Escher, Director.
Benson Martin, designee, DFS.
John?
John Wong, board member.
Good, John. And I know Michael Rosen is here, but will be joining us momentarily. So I'll recognize we do have a quorum for today's meeting. And then, Kevin, since I skipped you last time, we'll start with you.
Oh, Kevin Eunice. Well, with Prairie State Development. I thought you were asking me to make a presentation.
No, just to introduce yourself. So, and you did that so splendidly.
Thank you.
And Noah Raymond, Chief of Staff.
Liz Luskin, Executive Vice President, Small Business and Technology Development.
Joe Tazewell, New York City Regional Director.
Simone Bethune, Loans and Grants.
Karen Metha, Senior Director, New York Ventures.
Bet Yee, Interim VP for the Entrepreneur Development Department.
Barry Orlando, Chief Financial Officer.
Felisa Hawkeiser, Director of Compliance.
Goldie Wexel, Deputy General Counsel. Joshua Bloodworth, General Counsel.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being here today, and the staff, and Debbie, as always, for organizing things. So welcome. Our first item for today's meeting is the approval of the minutes of March 28th, 2024. I will move that. John seconds that. Are there any comments, revisions, or additions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The motion carries. I'll now hand it over to Hope Knight, ESD's President and CEO, to provide her President's report.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, directors. It's great to see you all since our last meeting in March. May is National Small Business Month, and Governor Hochul continues to prioritize support for New York small businesses. This month, she announced the launch of ESD's $6 million Innovation Matching Grants Program. This program provides application support and technical assistance to New York companies applying for the federal SBIR and STTR grant programs. These incentivize small businesses to engage in research and development with potential for commercialization. Until this program, New York was at a disadvantage to other states that had similar funding opportunities. ESD will now match certain levels of funding and hopefully keep these companies and innovations here in New York State. Since our last meeting, Governor Hochul and the state legislature reached an agreement on the state budget, which includes a number of exciting initiatives for ESD. It includes, for example, the $500 million for RUSH, the redevelopment of underutilized sites for housing. This funding will help state agencies repurpose existing state-owned sites and properties for housing, and is a part of Governor Hochul's continued efforts to address the state's housing shortage. The budget will also help us grow our skilled workforce with $200 million for On-Ramp, or the One Network for Regional Advanced Manufacturing Partnerships. This program will establish 4 workforce development centers throughout upstate New York, a flagship operation in Syracuse, and 3 others awarded competitively. The centers will focus on advanced manufacturing training and certifications, and they will target providing new opportunities for disadvantaged populations. This initiative will complement the efforts underway through our Office of Strategic Workforce Development. The budget also includes an additional $100 million for Fast New York to support shovel-ready sites, and another $75 million for the Restore New York Communities Initiative. So we have our work cut out for us, and we're thrilled about the impact this budget will have all across the state. But needless to say, we've hit the ground running this month. Governor Hochul launched round 14 of the state's Regional Economic Development Council initiative. ESD will be offering 2 new programs this round. Up to $40 million is available through the Capital Improvement Grants for Pro-Housing Communities program. Municipalities, counties, and not-for-profits can apply for this funding to support capital improvement and placemaking projects located within pro-housing communities certified by HCR. And up to $10 million is available through the Small Manufacturer Modernization Grants program. This will support small legacy manufacturers with projects designed to help them modernize operations and integrate advanced technologies into their businesses. And lastly, since our last board meeting, New York State welcomed President Biden to Central New York. The president announced a more than $6 million investment in Micron to grow our domestic semiconductor industry. This federal funding complements the state's commitment of $5.5 billion in the green chips incentives to establish Micron's megafab. The president's announcement was an endorsement of the Micron project and all of the work that the governor has been committed to with the ESD team to make New York a leader in the semiconductor industry. These are just some of the great things that are happening all across the state with the support of this dynamic ESG team. And with that, I conclude my report.
Great. Thank you, Hope. Exciting things happening all over
Very
the
much.
state. And I had the privilege of being with Governor Hochul 2 Fridays ago as we broke ground on a pancreatic research center over at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory, which is another amazing institution. So from Long Island to the city to the Hudson Valley to central New York to western New York and everywhere in between, some cool things are happening. So thanks for the presentation. Do any board members have any questions for Hope? All right, so we will move on. We're not going to have a spotlight presentation today. We had a little scheduling conflict. We'll hear from the Division of Minority and Women's Business Development at our June meeting, hopefully. So with that, we will go right to the agenda. And since we did not have an April meeting, we have a bunch of projects to approve. And so we will start in Western New York. And Paul Tronalone, our VP of Planning and Policy for Western New York, has 2 different items that will require 2 separate votes. So Paul, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Chairman. For the first item, the directors are asked to approve a $500,000 grant through the not-for-profit Community Services for Everyone, Inc., towards the $23 million Apartments at Lyceum project, which involves historic rehabilitation and adaptive reuse of the long-vacant St. John Canty Lyceum property along the Broadway corridor on the City of Buffalo's east side. The project will result in a mixed-use building containing 42 affordable apartments, which a portion of them to accommodate specific needs of the disabled and victims of domestic violence, along with commercial and community space to support programs for job readiness, community arts, food literacy, and living skills, both for the building's residents and members of the community. The award is through ESD's Better Buffalo Fund, or BBF, a competitive program funded through the Buffalo Regional Innovation Cluster, also known as Buffalo Billion. The BBF program encourages revitalization and infill projects along Buffalo's transit corridors and in targeted business districts. ESD's funding is targeted towards the community and commercial space of the building, and the balance of the project is being funded through multiple sources, with the primary ones being low-income tax credits, state and federal historic tax credits, and funding from the State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. Now, for the second item, the directors are asked to adopt a general project plan to allow for $3 million capital grant to the African Heritage Economic Initiative,
Paul,
a community-based not-for-profit.
Paul, can I stop you there, Paul? Let's
Sure.
After your first item, let's vote on that, and then we'll go to the second item. So for the apartments at the Lyceum Capitol, I will move it. Hilda seconds it.
Yes.
Any comments or questions? No comments from the public on this one. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. That motion carries. Now, Paul, continue to the second item, please.
Thank you, Chairman. For the second item, the directors are asked to adopt a general project plan to allow for a $3 million capital grant to the African Heritage Economic Initiative, a community-based not-for-profit organization formed in 1999 on Buffalo's East Side. The grant will be used towards a $4.8 million rehabilitation and reuse of a historic building at 238 Carlton Street in the city's Fruit Belt neighborhood. The restored building will house the African Heritage Food Co-op, which will include a cooperatively owned 3,500 square feet facility containing a grocery store and a greenhouse-style dining addition with community meeting space and the organization's offices on the second floor. The ESD's grant will be used towards the capital cost of the building restoration and will be supplemented through the use of state and federal historic tax credits. The organization has received bridge financing from the Local Initiative Support Corporation, or LISC, and ESD's funds would reimburse expenditures over the course of the construction. The project is part of Governor Hochul's June 2022 announcement to provide $50 million for various community housing and job readiness initiatives in East Buffalo in the wake of the racially motivated attack at the Top Supermarket on Jefferson Avenue, which we just commemorated the second anniversary this week. The project is about 12 blocks south of the Top Supermarket and is intended to provide facilities to help expand healthy food access and food choice in the neighborhood. The source of the ESD funding is the Regional Economic and Community Assistance Program, or RECAP, allocation in the 2022 state budget. And with that, I'll answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Paul. Paul, this is the item that the board members received a public comment on. We received, a thoughtful letter from Lorna Peterson. And do you care to address that and share any information or respond to some of the issues or concerns she raised in that letter?
Well, Ms. Peterson has been in contact with our Western New York regional office and has been concerned over the course of the project, and that's why this is 2 years in the making rather than immediately after the attack at the Tops. Basically, we had to go through a series of checks. We do a very thorough vetting of all our grantees before we send them to the board for consideration. And I specifically encouraged both the grantee and Ms. Peterson to meet over the course of the project, and she has done that at least on one occasion, I think maybe two, to work through some of her concerns. We continue to have discussions with her, and we'll work through that. I assured her that I would make sure that she knows the vehicle in which she can make public comments and how we go through and addressing them through the course of the project. I will probably coming back to the board to provide a full point-by-point response to any comments she has, both in today's letter or at the public hearing that you'll authorize through this action if you choose to adopt it. So, but just to go through it, she's concerned. She wants to make sure we do a thorough vetting of all this on the feasibility of the project and the feasibility of the co-op, and we intend to do that and continue to do that.
Good. That's good to hear. As I said, I thought her letter was thoughtful, and it's great to see that we take comments from the public seriously and try to address the concerns. Doesn't mean they're always right, but at least we should acknowledge it and try to address it. So thank you for that. And with your comments on that, I will move this. Hope seconds it. Do any board members have any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move over to the North Country region. Stephen Hunt, our Regional Director of ESD's North Country region. Two items, two separate votes. So, Stephen, after your first item, we'll take a vote, then you can proceed to the next one.
Excellent. Good morning, Chairman Law. Good morning, Board. I'm presenting the two projects this morning from the North Country, and first we're seeking approval of a $445,000 ESD capital grant to citizen advocates. for a $4.5 million grant to build a new 4-story mixed-use development with 40 new apartments and 13,940 square feet of new commercial space at street level in downtown Malone, New York, which is in Franklin County. The project has replaced unsalvageable, deteriorating property, creating new space for small businesses, and providing new quality-built affordable housing for low and moderate income residents. The project was a priority of the North Country REDC, and it's in alignment with the region's placemaking and downtown revitalization, as well as housing strategies. The project also happens to be in Malone's proposed downtown revitalization area, although they have not yet been awarded the DRI award. But the project is near completion with a groundbreaking scheduled in June, and ESD is now recommending that the board authorize the $445,000 grant for this project. I'm happy to take any question.
Yeah, are any of the 40 apartments, Stephen, affordable, and at what range?
Yeah, yes, there's a mix of incomes for the apartments that are made available, and there are other state agencies participating in the project. It's overall, it's over $22 million project.
Got it. Thank you. Any other board members have any questions, comments? All right. I will move this. Benson seconds it. No comments from the public on this item. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Next, Steve.
Okay, next we're seeking board approval for a $2.2 million DRI grant to 242 Washington Street, LLC, to be used for a portion of the cost of their $2.4 million project to stabilize and restore portions of the former Masonic Temple building in downtown Watertown, New York, which is in Jefferson County. The project includes shoring of the front portico, structural modifications to the portico floor deck, selective demolition, securement of the south cornice, and a number of other aspects to secure the building and prepare it for future use, including a installation of an elevator that will provide commercial opportunities on the upper floors of the building. The project was a priority in the Downtown Revitalization Initiative strategic plan for Watertown and is in alignment with the North Country REDC's placemaking strategy. The building restoration is also being supported by a City of Watertown Restore New York grant, and the project is underway and anticipated to be completed in April of 2025. But ESD is now recommending that the board authorize the $2.2 million grant for this project. I'm happy to take any questions.
Great. Any questions for Steve? Hearing none, we have no comments from the public. I will move this. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Allison Madmoon, Regional Director of ESD's Mohawk Valley Region. 5 items Allison has for us, so that's 5 separate votes. And so, Allison, again, I'll ask you to present one, let us take a vote, then you can proceed to the next one.
Absolutely. Good morning, Chairman, and good morning, Directors. The Directors are being asked to approve a Downtown Revitalization Initiative Round 4 award of $2 million to be used for a portion of the cost of construction and renovation of the Washington Street Garage by replacing structural deficiencies that enlarge sections of concrete beams, columns, and floor plates associated with the reopening of many areas. The City of Utica is the largest city within the Utica-Rome Metropolitan Statistical Area with a population of 64,081 residents in Oneida County, which is part of the Mohawk Valley region. In 2022, Utica was awarded a $2 million capital grant to assist with a $5 million renovation of an existing parking garage on Washington Street. Much of the garage was previously closed due to safety concerns. The infrastructure improvement project resulted in the ability to reopen hundreds of parking spaces for Utica employees and visitors, effectively activating Utica's downtown core. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. I will move this. Hope seconds it. No comments from the public. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Allison, next.
Next project, the directors are being asked to amend the general project plan and grant for Hustle, formerly known as the Commercialization Academy. The grant will be amended from a $2 million upstate revitalization award to include an additional appropriation of $2,135,000 to be used as a portion of the cost of program training, administration services, access to equipment, and seed money to entrepreneurs over 3 years, with 2 cohorts of 8 to 10 teams per year competing. The Griffith Institute was established in 2002 by the state of New York as an independent 501c3 entity governed by a board of directors. The primary role of the GI is to advocate and facilitate the cooperation of private industry, academia, and government in developing solutions to critical cybersecurity problems. Another prime role is to build upon technologies under development at the Air Force Research Laboratory Information Directorate to furder strengthen national security. Hustle is an entrepreneurial competition managed and administered by the Griffith Institute. Hustle provides intense support and mentorship services to businesses. The program has been successful thus far, demonstrating a significant increase in the relevancy of Hustle companies to the core technology assets of the Information Air Force Research Lab and the mission capabilities of the Griffith Institute. So far, there have been 60 companies that have gone through the Hustle program and 12 winners. On May 24th of 2018, ESD's directors approved a $2 million grant for the Upstate Revitalization Initiative. There's a current balance remaining on the original $2 million award of $636,634. In January of 2023, an additional $2,135,000 was made available through the New York Division of Science, Technology, and Innovation, or NYSTAR. Because GI is ready to begin funding new cohorts, ESD is recommending that the board authorize a modification of the original award of $2 million to include an additional $2,135,000. So the total budget for the project was originally $3.5 million. It's now up to $7.2 million. And the additional cohorts will total $3,755,000, and ESD will contribute the additional $2,135,000. The project is consistent with the MBREDC strategy to build new regional wealth and technological and STEM-related industries in areas of nanotechnology, cyber assurance and security, and unmanned aerial systems to increase overall employment, grow population, and increase the region's per capita income. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Allison? Hearing none, we have no comment from the public either. I will move this. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion is approved. Also let the record reflect that Michael Rosen has joined us. Allison, please continue with item G.
The directors are being asked to approve a Round 12 Regional Council capital grant of $430,000 to assist with funding the commercial portion of the project, including construction and renovation, infrastructure and site work for the rehabilitation of a historic building into a mixed-use residential and commercial space. This redevelopment project repurposed the 34,500 square foot former Children's Museum building in Bag Square, Utica, into a mixed-use residential and commercial space. The project provides the downtown district with 20 loft apartments as well as commercial space on the first floor. The project was completed in November of 2023 and has provided downtown Utica with new housing opportunities and commercial attractions. The total budget for this project was $5,055,812 for construction and equipment, and ESD's participation in the project is 8% of project costs, or $430,000. The project is consistent with the Mohawk Valley Regional Economic Development Council's plan to redevelop and revitalize urban centers in the region, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Allison? There are none. We have no comments from the public either. I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. You got 2 left, Allison.
All right, 2 more. The directors are being asked to approve a Regional Council Capital Fund grant of $829,000 to be used for a portion of the cost of construction, renovation, infrastructure, site work, machinery, equipment, and architectural and engineering services for the Matt Brewing Company. Matt Brewing is a private beverage manufacturer that produces beer, soda, spirits, cocktails, non-alcoholic beer, cider, wine, cocktails in cans, organic and non-organic alcoholic and non-alcoholic seltzers, which has been a family-owned business since 1888, located in Utica, New York. In April of 2020, the company began a second phase of work to expand its brewery operations and upgrade its facility with machinery and equipment, and submitted a consolidated funding application for assistance through the Regional Council Capital Fund. As a result of this project, 114 jobs were retained and 12 jobs were created. ESD's participation in this project is $829,600, less than 7% of the total project cost of $12,424,490. And the project is consistent with the Mohawk Valley Regional Economic Development Council's focus on manufacturers growing in the region, as well as our agribusiness strategy. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Allison? Hearing none. No comments from the public. I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Last one, Allison.
The directors are being asked to approve a Round 9 Regional Council Capital Grant of $100,000 and a DRI Round 4 award of $551,600 to be used for a portion of the cost of construction, renovation, infrastructure, site work, furnitures and fixtures and equipment for the center, formerly known as the Mohawk Valley Resource Center for Refugees, for their employment center. The center is a distinctive resettlement agency that not only provides refugee resettlement services, but also has a wide range of programs and services that further support integration for both refugees and immigrants in the community. The center's comprehensive services address new arrivals' most immediate needs so that they may focus as soon as possible on achieving self-sufficiency. These services include housing, health screenings, assistance with school enrollment, cultural orientation, employment services, including placement and pre- and post-employment supports, access to on-site English for speakers of other languages, citizenship and immigration services, traffic safety education, child passenger safety seat education and distribution, health education sessions, and comprehensive case management. The Employment Center project renovated several adjacent rooms in the building's lower level to create a new employment suite that will allow the agency to enhance and expand their current employment supports and services for refugees, immigrants, and newcomers to the region. This project renovates several rooms in the lower levels to create this employment center. ESD's participation in the project is $651,600, and the total project cost is $755,000. The Mohawk Valley Regional Economic Development Council has been made aware of this, and the project is consistent with their strategy of downtown redevelopment and placemaking within the region. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Hey, Allison, did I hear you correctly? The grant's $650,000 and the total project cost is $700,000+. It sounds like the grant's covering 85 or 90% of the project.
86% of the total project cost. So, and the reason for that is because there are two grant awards. So ESD's grant award is $100,000 for the project, and the DRI award is the remainder of the balance of the award. And so ESD helps to administer the funds for the DRI awards, but that is through the Department of State. The DRI program is through the Department of State. We manage the project. And so it's actually two grant awards that total the $651,600,000
Got it.
for the total project.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions? There's no comments from the public here. I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. And that is it from Allison. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
We'll move over to the Capital Region. Two items. We have two different presenters, and we'll take two separate votes. So Steve Golick, our VP of Poly and Capital Projects and Senior Counsel for Strategic Initiatives, will be up first. Steve?
Thank you, Chairman. The board is asked, the board is being asked to approve a $500 million grant to the SUNY Research Foundation. That is part of a larger $1.1 billion state commitment to build and equip the high NA EUV center at the Albany Nanotech campus. The project was announced by the governor last year, and this board previously has approved 2 grants totaling $500 million for the design to New York Creates to allow the design and construction of a new building and clean room at the campus. The overall project involves construction of a new facility, which will include about 45,000 square foot of clean room space and the purchase of the cutting edge high NA EUV lithography tool set. So the previously approved grants for $500 million for the building, this grant is for the tools, and the money for this grant was in this previous year's state budget. The expanded space will allow New York Creates to accommodate current partner growth on the campus and to support new initiatives, including competing for the National Semiconductor Technology Center, which will be funded by the Federal CHIPS and Science Act. Just some of the partners involved are IBM, Micron, Tokyo Electronic, Applied Materials, and Screen. So the overall project, is a major step forward for the Albany campus and will allow it to remain, at the forefront of chip R&D research. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to hear them.
Thanks, Steve. So again, this $500 million on top of the previous $500 million, $1 billion was allocated in the last 2 years' budgets?
Correct.
And just an educational question, I'll ask Kevin. So how come this doesn't come on at the direction of section of our budget, if these were directed in the budget, and why are we voting on them in just sort of the regional?
I think you could probably do either one in this case because while this is a line in the budget, it is meeting a commitment that we made last year on behalf of the governor.
Got it. Yeah. So we just continued as sort of the second half of a commitment we made a year ago.
Yeah.
Got it. Any board members have any other questions? Hearing none, no comments from the public. I will move it. John Wang seconds it. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, none. The motion carries. Thank you, Steve. Mike Yeverly, our regional director for the Capital Region, is up next.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. Today, I am requesting the directors approve a $1.2 million Round 3 REDC capital grant to 705 Broadway Hotel, LLC, for a portion of the cost associated with the construction of a new 7-story, 110-room hotel in downtown Albany. The project was a CREDC Round 3 priority project and had a total project cost in excess of $27 million. 705 Broadway Hotel, LLC was formed in 2016 with the sole purpose of undertaking this project, and they are affiliated with the Pioneer Companies headquartered in Syracuse, New York. The company undertook this transformative project in downtown Albany on a complex site in hopes that it would become a catalyst for other development along the downtown core. However, due to the high costs associated with the project, including extensive site remediation, there was a gap in funding, so the company came to the CREDC and applied for assistance. The hotel, a Hyatt Place, includes 110 guest rooms, a fitness center, meeting areas, dining areas, and an outdoor seating area. There are 5 meeting rooms with full audio and video capabilities and a bar, cafe, restaurant included. The project in the initial stages include a significant remediation of contaminated soil, asbestos material abatement, and the demolition of existing vacant buildings. Currently, there are 25 FTEs deployed on site, and the hotel has entered into a labor peace agreement with the New York Hotel and Motel Trade Council, AFL-CIO, and the Hotel Association of New York City, Inc. The project also received funding through New York Green Banks and CPACE capital funding. This was critical. The project was shut down midway through construction during COVID, lost its financing, went to these sources, and as a part of that, the project is fully electrified, carbon neutral, high energy efficiency. The project is consistent with CREDC's strategy of place, which is utilizing the success of the downtown revitalization initiative to deploy a hub and spoke approach to catalyzing economic development activity in our urban cores. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Michael. Any questions from the board members?
Nope.
No? No comments from the public either. So I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Michael and Steve. We'll move over to Central New York, and we have Daniel Kolinsky. He's our Regional Director for ESD Central New York Region.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, directors. Today, the directors are being asked to approve a Round 9 Regional Council Capital Fund grant of $300,000 to Express Tire LLC for a portion of the cost of new construction related to the new warehouse that was built in Syracuse. The project had a total budget of $6,638,922, with 19% coming from company equity. The grantee has completed construction on the warehouse, has retained 39 jobs, and has hired 4 of the required 11 new positions for the company. Express Tire was founded as Dunn Tire in 1973 in Buffalo, New York, as a car service and tire retail center. Dunn Tire rebranded as Express Tire as it sold its retail and service centers to focus on its growing wholesale and distribution business. Express Tire LLC operates 6 wholesale distribution centers covering all of upstate New York and western Pennsylvania, employing approximately 225 people. ESD participation will represent 5% of project costs. The project is consistent with the Central New York Regional Economic Development Council plan to grow jobs, drive private investment, and retain and expand businesses. Happy to take any questions.
Daniel, you didn't talk as fast as you did last month during the Spotlight presentation.
Probably one less cup of coffee.
Well, you only had one item to get through today, so last time you were briefing us on everything happening there. But no, you did a great job again, so thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Does anybody have any comments for Daniel? We have no comments from the public, so I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Daniel. Let's move over to New York City, and we have 2 items, 2 presenters, and we have Joe Taswell with us here live in person. The thinner Joe Taswell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. The directors are requested to approve a regional council capital grant of $725,000 and a Market New York grant of $375,000 to the New York Historical Society in connection with an $11.5 million renovation of its 5,000 square foot gallery space that will showcase little-known stories of underrepresented groups in American history. The gallery space will be called Equality and Justice for All. The project was designated as a New York City Regional Council priority project and REDC Round 8 in support of state and regional strategies to support tourism. The New York Historical Society is an American history museum and library in New York City along Central Park West between 76th and 77th Street on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. The New York Historical Society was founded in 1804 as New York's first museum and has been at its present location since 1908. The museum serves a broad and diverse audience of over 400,000 visitors from the New York metro area and from around the world. The museum presents exhibitions, public programs, and research that explore the history of New York and the nation. The museum also offers an extensive range of curriculum-based school programs and teacher resources and provides academic fellowships and organizes public programs for adults to foster lifelong learning and deep appreciation of history. The project will renovate a 5,000 square foot gallery space. As part of the project, the museum will conduct the refinishing and reinstallation of bronze windows, the reinforcing of window seals to allow for the installation of storm windows, refinishing and painting of affected walls, and the installation of new ceilings, flooring, light fixtures, AV equipment, and doors. As the museum has met the first disbursement milestone, staff is requesting that the directors approve the project. The project is expected to be completed in November of 2024. Thank you.
Right. And Joe, what's the address? Where in Manhattan?
The specific address.
Or is
It's
it
on Central Park West.
Central Park West.
77th Street.
Got it. Oh, so not too far away from the Museum of Natural History.
Yes, right across the street.
Right across the street.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. All right. Any other questions for Joe? We have no comments from the public. So I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Joseph. Next up from New York City, we have Patricia Bailey. She's our VP and Director of Entertainment and New Media Development.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Chairman, and good morning to the directors. Today, the directors are being asked to approve a New York Entertainment Workforce Diversity Grant of $377,463 to be used for a portion of the cost of job training of 40 underserved, underemployed individuals in electrical, grip, and property trades for the employment in film and television. This program will be training 2 cohorts of 20 students who have completed the LaGuardia Community College classroom work and necessary safety training. IATSE Local 52 instructors in grip, props, and electrical professions will lead the students in a practical, hands-on courses to help them on a pathway to union membership for employment in New York film and television productions and potentially prepare them for IATSE Local 52 membership. The Research Foundation of CUNY, on behalf of LaGuardia Community College, submitted an application for this funding grant in October 2022 to finance a portion of the costs associated with the LaGuardia Community College Film Production Training Program. In March 2023, ESD made RF CUNY, on behalf of LaGuardia, an offer of $187,651 to begin a training program from the Empire State Entertainment Job Diversity Development Fund. The organization accepted ESD's offer in the same month. However, the grant was increased to $247,937 in March 2024 to accommodate the increase in hands-on training costs, and increased again to $377,463 in April 2024 to reallocate a $129,526 grant awarded to IATSE Local 52 for the hands-on training portion of the program. The April 2024 adjustment was a reallocation, and the final program budget did not increase. The total budget for this project is $583,114 and this includes recruitment training and post-training career support. ESD's participation in this grant will be $377,463, which represents 65% of the project. This funding is sourced from the Empire State Entertainment Diversity Job Training Development Fund. I am happy to answer any questions you may have on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. My friend Ken Adams is doing a great job over at LaGuardia Community College.
Agreed.
Great. So does anybody have any comments or questions for Patricia? We do not have any comments from the public either. So I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Patricia. We'll move over to the Market New York Grant Program. Ross Levy, our Executive Director, Vice President of Tourism. Is he here or on the phone?
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
I'm on the phone. Good morning. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Directors. We are asking you to approve 2 Round 13 working capital grants under Market New York today. The first request is a working capital grant of $253,000 to the historic Hudson Valley to launch and promote a new nighttime event at Washington Irving's historic Sunnyside Cottage. Historic Hudson Valley is a Mid-Hudson-based not-for-profit organization that interprets and promotes historical landmarks in the Hudson Valley for the benefit and enjoyment of the public. Later this year, from November through December, Washington Irving's Sunnyside Cottage will serve as the backdrop for an event tentatively called Lanterns in the Landscape, a winter celebration of Sunnyside. This immersive outdoor experience will use custom-designed pierced lanterns, lighting elements, and narration to illuminate Irving's 19th century writings, bring his historic estate to life, and add to all that the region has to offer visitors outside of the peak tourism season. Market New York funding will be used to support the production and promotion of this event, and Historic Hudson Valley has met the 50% program match requirement, and this project is currently underway, and as such, we are asking for it to be approved. I can answer any questions on that.
Thank you, Ross. Can we do one vote for both of these, Market New York? Yeah, so why don't you proceed with the next item, Ross?
Sure thing. The second request is a working capital grant of $362,740 from the Market New York Grant Fund to the Natural History Museum of the Adirondacks, which is better known and marketed to the public as the Wild Center, in Tupper Lake to create and promote events connected to the 2024 total solar eclipse. The Wild Center offers visitors a one-of-a-kind opportunity to explore the natural world using indoor and outdoor experiences, including their famous Wild Walk, a trail of bridges among the treetops of the Adirondack Forest. On Monday, April 8th, Tupper Lake was directly in the path of the totality for the 2024 solar eclipse, which hopefully the directors had heard about. The Wild Center used the opportunity to bring visitors all weekend long with a schedule of events, including workshops with nationally renowned astronomers, the mobile glass blowing studio from the Corning Museum of Glass, and NASA-led live video streaming of the eclipse. Eclipse Monday brought the most visitors to the Wild Center since its opening in 2006 and saw the highest revenue day ever in its cafe and gift shop. The 2 weeks leading up to the total solar eclipse saw over 68,000 page views on its website, which was a 250% increase from the same time period year over year. The Wild Center has met the required 50% minimum match for this project. Happy to answer any questions on either of these.
Great. Thank you, Ross. Any comments or questions from the board members? We have not received any comments from the public. So I will move this. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion for both awards is approved. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move now to the Restore New York Communities Capital Grant. We have Simone Bethune, Senior Project Manager and Coordinator of Projects for Loans and Grants.
Thank you, Chairman Law. Good morning to everyone. We're seeking Director's approval for one Round 7 Restore New York grant in the amount of $750,000 to the City of Elmira in the Southern Tier region. The project involves the rehabilitation and restoration of 4 historic blighted properties: 406 East Church Street, 416 East Church Street, 310 Academy Place, and 319 William Street. The buildings formerly served as 3-story row homes and a warehouse. Steuben Church People Against Poverty, Inc., doing business as Arbor Housing and Development, will oversee the renovations, which will create 30 one-bedroom, 6 two-bedroom, and 5 studio residential units, a total of 46,871 square feet of affordable housing. Once complete, the buildings will set aside 13 units for survivors of domestic violence, with services provided from Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative. 13 of the apartments will also be reserved for families experiencing homelessness who will have access to supportive services and rental subsidies. This approximately $20.3 million project was initiated in January 2023 and complete in March 2024. Because the city has satisfied its obligations, ESD is recommending the board authorize release of funds for this project. And I can take any questions.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Simone? Sounds like a very worthy project. Not hearing any. No comments from the public. So I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Simone, you're going to continue now with 5 different at the direction of projects, correct?
Yes, that's right. As a reminder, at the direction of grants refer to those commitments listed in the New York State budget that enhance the state's communities through cultural, educational, research and development, and civic organizations. These projects originate from the governor or the New York State Assembly or Senate, and ESD is named to administer the funding. ESD does not select the recipients of funding. For the first item, we're seeking director's approval for fiscal year 2023-24 $500,000 Assembly-sponsored Local Assistance Award to Brooklyn Alliance, Inc. The Brooklyn Alliance used ESD funds to sponsor 3 annual events and provide new training opportunities to its minority and women-owned business members. For the first event, the Alliance used funding to offset the cost of sending 6 Brooklyn businesses to the 2024 Winter Fancy Food Show, which took place in February in Las Vegas, Nevada. The food show featured more than 1,000 domestic and international companies across more than 40 specialty food and beverage exhibits. The organization also hosted its January 23, 2024 Brooklyn Career Fair And finally, ESD funds were used to cover costs associated with attending the September 7th, 2023 Alibaba Co-Create event in Las Vegas, where the Alliance explored international business resources for its members. Funding will be applied to these activities through June 2024. That's all I have for that one. Should I go on?
Yes.
Okay. For the second item, we're seeking director's approval of a $25 million special appropriation award made available at the direction of the Executive Chamber to Pace University for a cost of construction and renovation to its One Pace Plaza facility, a 550,000 square foot existing structure on the Pace University campus in downtown New York City. Two appropriations of $5 million each were included in the 2022-2023 and 2023-2024 New York State budgets. The state is expected to commit to three additional $5 million appropriations each in fiscal year 2024-25, 25-26, and 26-27 for an overall total appropriation of $25 million to the project, dependent on the availability of funding. The renovated facility will support a new dynamic centralized home for its undergraduate and graduate performing and creative arts programs. Project design commenced in the summer of 2022, and the schedule is currently tracking for completion in the second quarter of 2024, with construction expected to be fully complete and ready to open in the university's fall 2026 semester. For the third item, we're seeking director's modification of a $20 million special capital appropriation from fiscal year 2023-24 made at the direction of the Executive Chamber to renovate and upgrade the Syracuse University JMA Wireless Dome. The dome is a key event space and economic engine in the capital region, but its aging infrastructure has caused a decline of the venue's popularity with major concert promoters and national event organizers. On November 17, 2022, ESD directors approved a total of $8 million of the $20 million appropriation to install new seating and digital antenna in the Dome Stadium. This portion of the project totaled $19.2 million in expenditures and was sought separately in the interest of allowing the grantee to begin the project as it became viable for reimbursement. The initial project activities did not require environmental review and so could be approved right away. The remaining $12 million in funding is being sought for approval at this meeting and will be applied to construction of an 18,500 square foot addition to the dome, which will be made available to host student gatherings, pregame parties, and visiting conferences. The total budget for constructing the event space is approximately $18 million, and the overall renovations are expected to total approximately $37 million once construction is complete in November 2024.
Continue.
Okay, for the fourth item, the directors are being requested to approve a $500,000 appropriation from fiscal year 2022-23, the New York Works Economic Development Fund, made at the direction of the Executive Chamber to Caribbean Preparedness and Response Incorporated for equipment installation at 8 digital communication community centers. CPR is a not-for-profit satellite-based emergency communications organization. This telecommunications network, with centers throughout New York State, provides broadband connectivity in Puerto Rico and other Caribbean American territories to aid in emergency preparedness between New York State and the islands during major disasters. The 8 communication centers being outfitted under this grant will possess broadband satellite connectivity, advanced communication services, and digital services. Among other objectives, the centers will serve to contact and coordinate with local emergency services in Puerto Rico during major disasters to assist with ascertaining the availability of and making medical emergency communications operational. The centers will also allow local communities in New York with ties to the island the ability to communicate with family members, friends, and neighbors to ensure the safety and location of potential disaster victims. Funding for this project will be made available through December 2025. And finally, the directors are being asked to approve a $500,000 appropriation from the Capital Assistance Program for Technology, Infrastructure, and Economic Development, made available in fiscal year 2018-19, at the direction of former Senator Rich Funk of the 55th District to support replacement of the electrical switchboard control panel at St. Anne's Home for the Aged. St. Anne's Home, located in Rochester, New York, is a not-for-profit skilled nursing facility founded in 1873. St. Anne's provides housing and health services, including residential and long-term care facilities for seniors. The electrical switchboard replacement serves a vital role in the facility, which underwent a complete renovation in 2018. ESD funds will be applied to improving the switchboard's electrical and mechanical capacity, meeting code requirements and modern electrical load demand, while also enabling facility-wide system upgrades, including improved communication with its HVAC systems that have resulted in reduced rates of infection among residents from airborne viruses. This project was complete in December 2022 at a cost of approximately $950,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. Hilda?
I have to recuse myself from the CPR project. I'm in the board.
I'm sorry?
The CPR project.
Which the last one? St. Anne's?
No.
Oh.
The
D.
one,
Yeah.
CPR, the one
Got
in
it.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Got it. Very good. Let the record reflect Hilda's abstention and recusal.
My apologies.
Don't worry about it. On item 3,
D.
D. Well, it's 3AD. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so 3D. And any comments or questions for Simone on any of the others? We have no comments from the public on all of these items that have been either directed for us to approve from either the legislature or the executive branch. So I will move them. Hope seconds them. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion for all of them is approved. And again, note Hilda's recusal on item D. All right, thank you, Simone.
Thank you.
Move over to the Office of Strategic Workforce Development. We have Amber Rangel, VP and Director of Workforce Development. We have 2 items, 2 separate votes. So Amber, after you finish the first item, let us take action on it.
Great, thank you, Chair, and good morning, Directors. The Directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Program Operating Grant to Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES in the amount of $700,000. The Office of Strategic Workforce Development launched these programs in October 2022 as part of Governor Hochul's $350 million investment in workforce development enacted in the fiscal year 23 budget. The office has $150 million in grant funding for 2 program tracks, a $35 million workforce capital grant program, and a $115 million pay for performance grant program. Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES applied for the Pay for Performance Operating Grant through round 3 of Office Strategic Workforce Development Grant Program. Based on the recommendations of the office and the ESD Commissioner, an incentive proposal was signed, agreeing to provide $700,000 in funding. The funding will be used to expand electrical careers training program to meet regional employer needs for entry-level positions in electrical technology careers, both in the construction and manufacturing industries. The Electrical Careers Expansion Project includes 3 training programs: electrical fundamentals for the construction trade, industrial and mechanical electrical, and manufacturing technician, all of which are designed in collaboration with industry partners. The project will include support for curriculum development, training materials and technology, program instructors, and a business and industry liaison position to connect graduates with apprenticeships and good jobs. The training will be for adult learners who will earn the OSHA 10 certifications and industry-recognized certifications needed by industry partners. The wraparound services available to trainees includes transportation and emergency support. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds from Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES to carry out this project, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Good. Thank you, Amber. Any comments or questions? None. We have not received any comments from the public. Since it's Monroe County, we'll have Hilda second my motion to approve. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The motion is approved. Next up, Amber.
Great, thank you. The directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Program Operating Grant to Cahill Resources in the amount of $751,200 $211. Cahill Resources applied for a pay-for-performance operating grant through round 3 of the Office of Strategic Workforce Development grant funding. Based on the recommendation of the office, an ESD commissioner, an incentive proposal is signed, agreeing to provide $751,211 in funding. The funding will be used to train construction skills in Cahill's Acquire Construction Academy. Cahill will work with their industry partners to secure placements for job-ready workers in emergency industries such as renewable energy and sustainable infrastructure. The academy combines a digital training platform with hands-on learning, resulting in OSHA certifications, on-the-job training, mentorship from industry experts, and continued professional development for 2 years post-completion. The program specifically works with construction companies who are staffing up to meet the needs of infrastructure projects across the state. The digital e-training platform has more than 300 training modules that feature video instruction, comprehension quizzes, infographics, and trackable metrics. The Mentor Network allows participants and educators to match with experienced, qualified mentors in the system that can support professional development and career coaching. Additional support services include transportation, childcare, and participant stipends. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for Cahill Resources to carry out this project. To answer any questions.
Any comments or questions for Amber? We have not received any comments from the public, so I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Amber. Now have some Federal Department of Defense initiative item, and we have Benjamin Verschuren. He's our Executive Director of NYSTAR.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. The directors are being requested to approve 4 working capital grants totaling $5 million to Fuse Hub, Griffith Institute, Center State CEO, and Syracuse University to establish the Upstate Defense Consortium. Empire State Development is serving as a convener of this consortium, applied on its behalf for, and was competitively awarded a 5-year Department of Defense grant that is the full source of the $5 million funds. Upstate New York is a leading manufacturer of several critical defense technologies with a rich and consistent history of developing innovative and secure defense and dual-use systems and a robust field of existing manufacturers committed to strengthening the region's industry. The newly formed Upstate Defense Consortium will leverage its resources to accelerate the impact of the region's rich microelectronics history by better aligning and enhancing critical economic and social components. The goal is to build stronger intra-regional supply chains and leading-edge innovation and technology transfer via defense incubation, acceleration, startup programming, and STEM educational and talent skill-building opportunities. The 4 sub-awardees under this grant are Fuse Hub Incorporated, Center State Center for Economic Opportunity, Syracuse University, and Griffith Institute Incorporated. I'll give a brief overview of each of the 4 projects. First, Fuse Hub will leverage its marketing platforms to perform outreach and education to entrepreneurs and startup manufacturers on the resources and activities of the consortium. Fuse Hub will perform needs assessments for companies and provide guided access to resources across the state for supporting R&D, commercialization, and scale-up. Fuse Hub will help build a domestic supply chain for critical defense technologies, run co-design workshops meant to better map and coordinate the local supply chain, deliver increased federal procurement trainings, and support the development of a regional clearinghouse of vetted suppliers for better matchmaking. They will be receiving a grant of $1,250,000 and have agreed to invest an additional $400,000 for a total of $1,650,000. Second, the Griffith Institute will extend and focus its innovative talent and technology development programs to create specific opportunities for microelectronic companies and innovators. In its role in the consortium, Griffith will create specific program interventions for workforce development and building a talent supply chain. They will be receiving $1 million and have agreed to invest in an additional $1,287,500 for a total of $2,287,500. Third, Center State CEO will collaborate with project partners to build strategies to grow the region's defense manufacturing sector. Specifically, they will assist small businesses from marginalized populations to grow defense-related businesses and large firms to explore entrepreneurship opportunities to foster growth and innovation. The organization will also work through its role as co-convener of the Future Ready Workforce Innovation Consortium to build training programs focused on people from marginalized populations to help them access defense manufacturing jobs. They will be receiving $1,625,000 and have agreed to invest an additional $867,000 for a total of $2,492,000. Fourth, Syracuse University will design, develop, and launch a digital semiconductor hub focused on the military-connected community. The hub will aim to attract, train, provide resources and assistance with job placement to service members, veterans, and military spouses across New York State who are interested in employment in the semiconductor industry. They will be receiving $1,125,000 and have agreed to invest an additional $200,000 for a total of $1,325,000. All funds across the projects are for working capital to cover salary, fringe, consulting, travel, supplies, indirect costs, and in the case of Fuse Hub and Griffith, grants and seed awards to companies for supply chain projects and commercialization. The projects are being fully funded through the $5 million DoD award and $2,809,500 in sub-awardee investments, totaling $7,809,500. Work started once the federal award was made in September of 2023, and all work must be completed and disbursements requested by August 31st, 2028. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Benjamin. Does the Department of Defense, do they have to approve of this consortium too? Or do they just give us the federal monies that go through NYSTAR and we're the ones approving the consortium?
Yeah, all of these details were part of the federal application, so they've approved it as part of the award.
Got it. So both federal and state approval.
Yep.
Got it. Thank you. That sounds exciting. You know, between what's going on with the semiconductors in central New York, the nanotech and New York Creates up in Albany, the governor's initiative for AI Empire in Buffalo, a lot of very cool things happening in upstate New York. So, did anybody have any comments or questions for Benjamin? Hearing none, we have no comments from the public, so I will move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you.
All right, so we have Jennifer Teagan here with us today, Managing Director of New York State Venture. We have two items, two presenters, and two separate votes. So Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Chairperson Law and Directors. This morning I'm asking for, the New York Ventures team is asking for board approval for two investments. I'll present the first one, and then my colleague Karan Mehta is going to present the second one. The first is a request for approval of a follow-on investment of up to $1 million in Buffalo, New York-based Post-Process. The New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund previously invested $2,050,000 in this company, so our investment this new investment would bring that total to $3,050,000. As a veteran-founded company, Post-Process is in the business of additive manufacturing. It turns 3D printed parts into finished goods with its hardware and software solutions. The company's solutions address a really critical bottleneck in the additive manufacturing value chain by automating the final post-process steps, and which have traditionally been completed using manual labor, and their processing allows it to be automated. The company has recurring revenue from consumables, software licenses, and other services, and Post-Process currently has 43 employees, with 28 of those located full-time in downtown Buffalo. The Innovation Venture Capital Fund and staff is requesting this investment of up to $1 million into an up to $8 million Series C preferred financing round. Proceeds from the financing will be used for working capital and allow the company to move towards sustainable operations and profitability. As a part of our due diligence process, we've evaluated and our work with our external investment advisory committee. We evaluated the company's business plan, growth prospects, as well as the terms of the investment. And as a result of that analysis, we agree that market opportunity and growth potential offered by the company warrants an investment by the New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund and recommend it for approval.
So Jennifer, this is our third investment in this company?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, you say they've also attracted now Series B?
This is actually Series C round funding, and they've, along with our $1 million, they'll be closing. I believe they have raised about $7 million to go along with our $1 million. So it's leveraged. Our investment is leveraged by additional investor capital.
Got it. Good. That sounds good. Thank you, Jennifer. Any other comments or questions for Jennifer? We have no comments from the public on this, so I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion is approved. Next up is Karan Mehta. He's our Senior Director of New York State Venture Capital Fund. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and Board. We're seeking Board approval for an investment of up to $750,000 into ZeroMark. ZeroMark is a veteran-founded drone defense technology company that develops AI-enabled products, ensuring safety for military professionals and law enforcement. Its first product is an automatic targeting system designed to counteract drone threats. The product is a hardware-software solution that can be retrofitted to any kinetic firearm and helps personnel automatically target small drones using AI. Small, inexpensive drones are having a major impact on warfare and are creating new threats to infrastructure and public safety. For example, threats to airports, instances of smuggling drugs via small drones, physical attacks on power grids, threats at live events, espionage, and more. These drones are notoriously difficult to track and neutralize, and current solutions to counter against drones are extremely expensive, heavy, and outdated. ZeroMark provides a low-cost, practical solution for law enforcement and the military to combat against drones with 95% accuracy, thereby enhancing the safety of both personnel and American citizens. The proceeds from this financing round will be used for working capital, and the evaluation of this investment has followed the same due diligence process as explained by my colleague before, with both the New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund staff and the Investment Advisory Committee recommending their approval. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions.
Good job, Karan. We haven't met yet. Are you
Nope.
new here, or we just haven't met?
I'm relatively new, 6 months.
All right, well,
And,
good.
yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
And I don't have any questions. Does anybody else have any questions? We have no comments from the public. So I will move this. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion is approved. Again, very good job. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Karan. Okay. We have now the statewide entrepreneurship assistance centers. We have Bet Yee, our Senior Director of Entrepreneur Development. I think Bet's here with us, too. Yep.
Yes, I am. Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman and Directors. The 2023 and 24 New York State budget funded up to $400,000 for the Small Business and Entrepreneur Grant Program to award grants to entrepreneurs and business owners to cover startup costs of new small businesses or to support or expand existing small businesses in New York State. The guidelines for this program were presented and approved by the October 19, 2023 board. This is to be a pilot initiative implemented by the Entrepreneurship Assistance Centers program through its network of centers, or EACs, to establish, organize, and manage a new or expand on an existing business plan competition for their business owners who successfully graduate from the EAC Business Plan course. The grant allows the centers to make awards to competition winners of up to $25,000, but not less than $5,000. The centers will be allowed to use up to 20% of the grant funds for administrative costs to support a pilot business plan competition initiative covering 2 years. The RFA was released on January 8, 2024, indicating that ESD would provide up to $100,000 for each of 4 EACs to establish a business plan competition. We received 13 applications, of which 5 were automatically not eligible because they were not designated current EACs. The 8 eligible EACs presented very strong applications. In order to take advantage of these strong applications and achieve the geographic coverage across the state, ESD staff is recommending, along with the approval of the procurement and legal departments, that we approve 5 awards of $80,000 each. This will help us fulfill the purpose of this grant to get as wide a geographical coverage as possible and to give traditionally underserved regions that do not currently have a business plan competition in their area a first-time opportunity to support their small businesses. The EAC program is requesting the board's approval to award 5 EACs, a grant of up to $80,000 each, to the following EACs. The first is Accord Corporation, covering Western New York. Second is Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation, covering Brooklyn, New York. The third is Business Outreach Centers Network, covering the parts of New York City and the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. The fourth is the Institute for Rural Vitality, covering the Mohawk Valley region of New York. And the fifth is the Women's Enterprise Development Center, covering the Mid-Hudson regions of New York. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Bet. Any comments or questions for Bet? None. We have no comments from the public on this matter, so I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. And the last items on our agenda for today will be Doug Janice, who has 6 items for us. I'll remind folks that Benson is recusing himself from item 8D. Doug, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman Law, and good morning, directors. As a reminder, in order to help streamline our board meetings, we've implemented an oral summary presentation process in connection with the administrative action section of the agenda. So you receive a full set of written descriptive materials for each of these items in your board materials, but rather than having individual oral presentations, I'll provide a brief summary of the items. At the conclusion, we can entertain any comments or questions the directors may have. The 6 administrative action items are summarized as follows. Item 8A is relative to the authorization to amend a contract to provide property maintenance services in connection with the former Episcopal Church home property in Buffalo, New York. The board is being asked to approve a contract amendment for property maintenance services related to the ESD-owned former Episcopal Church home property in the city of Buffalo. The amendment will extend the term with DMJ Property Services for an additional year with an option to renew for another year. The total contract amount will not exceed $37,500. Item 8B is relative to authorization to enter into a contract for environmental legal services for the Creedmoor Community Master Plan Project. Directors are being asked to authorize the corporation to enter into a contract for environmental legal services with Brian Cave Leighton Paisner LLP in an amount not to exceed $400,000 in connection with the Creedmoor Community Master Plan Project. Creedmoor Community Master Plan is a community-based plan which provides a framework for redeveloping approximately 58 acres of vacant and underutilized land at the Creedmoor Psychiatric Center campus located in eastern Queens to create a vibrant new community with a mix of housing, neighborhood retail, community facilities, and open space. Environmental legal counsel is needed in connection with the environmental review of the proposed project as envisioned in the master plan, in compliance with SECRA, as well as advising on other environmental and related legal matters associated with the project. Item 8C is relative to authorization to amend a legal services contract with Hogue, Newman, Regal, and Kenny LLP to continue to provide Freedom of Information Law legal counsel related to the Pennsylvania Station Area Civic and Land and Use Improvement Project. This contract is this is a request for authorization to increase the contract amount of ESD's existing legal service contract with the law firm in connection with Freedom of Information Law or FOIL claims and litigation related to the Pennsylvania Station Area Civic and Land Use Improvement Project. The firm, which is a New York Certified Women-Owned Business Enterprise, or WBE, and is on ESD's pre-qualified list of outside counsel, was originally retained in 2022 to represent ESD's interest after a FOIL lawsuit was brought against ESD. The original contract was for a term ending in August of 2023 with a contract limit of $249,000. In April 2023, the ESD directors approved a contract amendment that extended the term to August 2025 and increased the contract limit to $350,000 in order for the firm to provide legal representation to ESD in the ongoing FOIL litigation. At this time, the directors are being asked to increase the contract limit by an additional $100,000 to a total amount not to exceed $450,000. The additional amount is needed to cover legal services provided in the FOIL litigation and appeal, which has now been resolved. Item 8D is relative to authorization to purchase insurance policies related to the Highline Moynihan connector. The directors are being requested to authorize the purchase of the corporation's standalone Highline Moynihan connector insurance policies, which were renewed on April 1st. The specific policies up for renewal were general liability, excess liability, and property insurance. ESD is required through an easement agreement with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to carry these policies. The total cost of these policies is not to exceed $1,139,846.42. Item 8E is relative to authorization to enter into a contract amendment with Zoom Video Communications, Inc. The directors are requested to authorize the corporation to enter into a contract amendment with Zoom Video Communications, Inc. to continue to provide video conferencing licenses for ESD staff to meet the needs of the corporation. Zoom helps consolidate communications, including meetings, ESD's transition to a work-from-home platform, as well as seamless integration with Microsoft Outlook. The contract amendment is for 1 year with an option for ESD to renew for up to 2 additional 1-year terms at an annual renewal cost of $275,000. And finally, item 8F is relative to authorization to enter into a contract amendment with Oracle America, Inc. for PeopleSoft Financial System Software Support Maintenance. The directors are being requested to authorize the corporation to enter into a contract amendment with Oracle America, Inc. for PeopleSoft Financial System Software Support Maintenance. Oracle will continue to provide maintenance of over 10 finance-related modules within the PeopleSoft system pursuant to this agreement. The contract amendment is for 1 year with an option for ESD to renew for up to 2 additional 1-year terms. The cost for the first year shall not exceed $68,000, with the cost for the second and third year not to exceed $72,000 and $76,000 respectively, for a total possible cost over the 3 years not to exceed $216,000. I will now turn this back over to our chair, who will call for any questions or comments you may have on any of these items before calling for a vote. We also have item-related staff on the line today to take any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Doug Janice? Hearing none, we have no comment from the public on any of these items. So I will move it. John seconds them. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. And again, note Benson's recusal on the vote. That concludes our official agenda today. Does any board member have any other items that they'd like to raise at this point? Hearing none. I mean, I don't want to sound like Donald Trump, but I'm freezing in this room. Anybody? This room is so cold. But I think we're doing that to keep Michael awake, right? That's what they're doing in the court, to keep the jurors awake. So, but hopefully the new office space will have better HVAC capabilities. And speaking of that, now this is the last time we officially will be in this room for our board meetings. Our next board meeting is not going to be Thursday, June 27th, but it's going to be Tuesday, June 25th. That was a screw-up on my part. As many of you know, I chair the Long Island Housing Partnership. We have our annual meeting and luncheon the Thursday, and I believe the governor is coming to that, so it's probably a good idea that I'm there. So we are moving the board meeting to Tuesday, June 25th, and we're going to be at our brand-new office space. And the address is?
655 Third Avenue.
655. I'm told it's right across the street from us. And I think Noah's going to lead some of us on a tour of that after the meeting today. So, a group tour. So, that is it for today. Thank you, Hope, and your team for another good meeting. And, you think about it, today we approved workforce grants, tourism grants, grants for mixed housing projects, hotels, museums, manufacturing, clean rooms, and of course, breweries. We're touching every part of the state, almost every sector of the state, and it's pretty cool to see. So thank you, team. And I'll move to adjourn, seconded by Hilda. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. And Michael, 11 o'clock on the dot. Perfect. Okay, thank you all.